Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife. This week, I ran across the Military Times list of best for vet universities, so best for veterans. And I'm going to give you the top 10 universities that they say are best for military veterans and military in general, what they provide, and whatnot for military individuals, as well as, in my case, an honorable mention and dishonorable mention in that category. As always, I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to give you their top 10. And in the number one position is University of South Carolina. And it is their flagship university for the state of South Carolina. And it has lots of different nationally ranked programs, including their business school, health program, nursing, pharmacy, engineering, and computing. And they are really dedicated, and they have a whole office and support system for military families. They additionally have credit by exam policies. So I did this in university. My university had a credit by exam process where you could take a huge exam and it would exempt you or give you credits for certain language classes. And that's basically what they're talking about. So they have advanced placement or international baccalaureate exam, the CLEP general test, CLEP subject test, and the DSST subject test, as well as language proficiency tests. There's also several endowment scholarship funds for military, as well as alumni council, service scholarships, and whatnot. They can also you can also do a work study if you're a VA there, and the ROTC programs offered are Air Force, Army, Marine, Navy, and Space Force. So they basically have all of the ROTCs, which not all universities, in fact, most universities don't have all of them. And they have career support, as well as their veteran service list is rather extensive. They have a space for studying and socialization, counseling, processing, personal finance support and advice, academic help and tutoring, mentorship programs, career advising, social events for veterans and their families, military-related service projects, help for physically disabled vets, as well as mental health counseling. So you can go and read more about all these universities if you want. I will have the link in the description for this episode, but I just kind of want to give you a basic breakdown of each university and why they were picked. So moving on to number 2, it is Bowling Green State University, which is actually not far from a military installation. Bowling Green was ranked number 2 overall. It has high research nationally ranked comprehensive university, and so it's a research university. It focuses on research and scholarships, like I said, and it has 200 undergrad majors. It has advanced placement for international baccalaureate, just like all the same ones as before, but it also has tests created by and specific to your school. So there's other ones on top of all the ones that I listed in the other university. This one also has military scholarships, as well as it has lots of different organizations that offer military scholarships, not just one or two. It has work study. Its ROTC is only Air Force and Army. It does have career support. It has tutors available to provide military-affiliated students with either face-to-face or on-campus or virtual tutoring, as well as peer mentoring groups of military-affiliated students to build a connection with students new to the university, whether they are freshmen or transfer. It has veteran services include a space to study and socializing, counseling, processing, personal financial support, academic help and advising, mentorship programs, class registration and career advising, social events for veterans and their families, military-related service projects, help for physically disabled veterans, mental health, and an informational website. So a lot of these things are going to be the same, but I'm going to let you know what each university has in case you have any particular interest in a university because you are geographically close to them. So again, some of this stuff is going to be repetitory, but just, getting to all of that information. Quinnipiac, and I hope I'm saying that, Quinnipiac University ranked 3 overall. It is known for its Veterans Affairs stuff. It's got a reading room for the veterans, and its undergraduate and graduate programs are focused on business, communications, engineering, health, education, law, medicine, nursing, and the liberal arts and sciences. So those are some basic things that you can look for when you're looking into that. Again, with the credit exam policies, they've got all of the same ones pretty much stated before. And they do have the work study. They only have Air Force and Army ROTC. And they do have career supports through Hiring Our Heroes and Jobs for Vets. They've got several different scholarship programs, but not quite as many as some of the other ones. They don't have as many specific to that university. They do have a space for studying, counseling, processing, personal, financial, academic advising, mentorships, all those different things. Legal aid, which is a new one for this one, and social events for vets and their families, military rated, and then, service projects, mental health, and a good website. So this one, the real highlight standout is that they provide legal aid, and that's not been something specified previously by any of the other universities. Now, in case of the other universities, I just took for granted that you'd be able to figure out where they were located. But in the case of Quinnipiac, most people may not know it's located in Hamden, Connecticut. But Bowling Green was Bowling Green, Kentucky. Again, you can look all of these up when you go to the site if you're interested. The next university is the University of Texas at Arlington. I assume by that name you can guess where that one's located. It ranked 4 again overall, and it has one of the best nursing schools for military veterans, and interestingly enough, was founded in 1859 as Arlington College, and then later it was known as the Carsley Military Academy. So it actually used to be a military academy. Maybe part of the reason why they are so good for military in general. They're also known for their social work programs as well, and you can get a minor in military history. They have all of the same credit by exam ones as previously, and they do have some government funding programs, but it's mostly through the VA and things like that. No actual scholarships directly for that university. Yes, they do participate in the VA work study. They have Air Force and Army ROTC. And then career support is also something that they offer. Then their basic services are pretty much the same as before. Study spaces, counseling, processing, personal finances, academic help, and advising, mentorships, class registration, career advising, social events, service projects, help for physically disabled veterans, mental health, and a good website. But it doesn't have anything out of the normal like Quinnipiac did, for example. But again, a solid school, and if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. I'm putting the ROTC stuff in there because, and this is something people may not think about, is the green to gold is what the Army calls it. But basically, when you are in the military and want to switch from enlisted to officer, you can go to officer candidate school, or you can go back and basically do the ROTC program and finish up your degree. And so knowing which ones have ROTC programs can be advantageous if you are in the process of applying for those programs, just so that you know whether or not they have your branch's ROTC program. And it seems like for Army and Air Force, you're pretty much covered. If you've got Navy or Marines or something else, you might have to look a little bit more to find one that covers what you're looking for. Okay, number 5 is University of Maryland Global Campus. Now, the really interesting fact about them is they have campuses in different places, different states. They might be the University of Maryland, but they have campuses in 3 different places in the United States, but they also have one in Germany, which is great if you are overseas stationed in Germany to be able to attend a university there. They currently have 50,000 military affiliated students. They offer online, hybrid, as well as face-to-face in more than 125 degrees, certificates, and specializations. And they specialize in high demand fields such as cybersecurity and business. So that's something to really take into consideration if you're stationed in Germany, or if you are, interested in one of those degree fields or looking for something that is a little bit more flexible. They do have a lot of the same credit by exam policies as the previously mentioned ones. They have quite a few scholarships offered. I mean, the list of scholarships they offer for military is massive. It is absolutely massive. So if you are looking for a school that has a lot of different ways for military assistance to pay for your education, this is definitely one to give a good hard look at, because they do provide a lot, as well as stuff for children of Vietnam veterans. It just goes on. They've got huge donor-funded programs and everything. It's really quite an extensive list. I was rather impressed. And their ROTC programs are Air Force, Army, and Space Force. So they've got one more than most. They do have career support, and they've got a lot of information about that, as well as stuff for military connected students. So if you're not actually a veteran, but it's like your child, they've got even things for them. And services are pretty much the same as specified: study spaces, counseling, processing, financial, academic, mentor, registration, advising, events for military families and veterans, as well as service projects, physically disabled vet assistance, mental health, and so forth. So overall, they definitely have a different niche of things that they provide. And again, because they've got a global campus, they've got different satellite campuses. That's helpful also. The University of the Incarnate Word is in San Antonio, Texas, and they have a lot of Hispanic services. They're a Catholic university. They've got 90 undergraduate and 20 graduate programs, so they're a little bit more dialed in on what they provide. They do have a lot of different programs, and they've got a lot of the same credit by exam policies. Their funding is a little bit more than some of the other ones. They've got scholarships and whatnot, as well as free textbooks and different things for, even free parking. Okay, I don't know if any of y'all dealt with university parking, but it's a beast. Free parking for disabled and decorated veterans. So, I mean, if you're a disabled vet, that's not anything to sneer at. They have Air Force and Army ROTC. They do have career support. They do have stuff for military connected individuals. Similar things as before: study space, counseling, processing, financial, academic help, mentoring, class registration, career advising, social events, military-related service projects, help for physically disabled veterans. That includes those free parking spaces, which is fabulous, mental health counseling, and whatnot. So again, it really depends on what you're looking for, which one of these universities is going to be good for you. But it's a great list to look at in general. Whether or not it's the top 10 or another university, there's still a lot to be provided. So the next one is Angelo State University, and they are located in San Angelo, Texas. And looks like it's a smaller school. They've got a really good education program there, and they have 60 academic degrees for different majors. So it's really supposed to be very fast paced, according to what they're saying. They've got a lot of those same credit by exam policies. And they do have a little bit of, like, they've got tuition assistance, but that's pretty much it. There's no really focused scholarships specialized to them. They do have the VA work program. They only have our Air Force ROTC. They've got career support. They do help military connected, so like children of military service members. Veteran services are all the same as before: the study space, the counseling, the processing, yada, yada, yada. I've been through the list a couple times. But basically, it's all the same sorts of things. All great stuff. Really not a whole lot that varies from other universities that cater to military. So, good school. Nothing different from anything else we've discussed in the past. University of Arizona, I was a little surprised to see. I do know they do stuff, but I didn't realize that. They are a school I am more familiar with because I've actually toured that campus. I didn't end up going there. One thing that they like to emphasize is that they have a dedicated vet center on their main campus. And they have extra they've got support for spouse independence and different things. They've got lots of benefits, and they've really just focused on military families. So they have all the same exam policies for credit by exam. They've got several scholarships that are specific to this school. Not quite as many as some of the others, but still a good amount. And always having dedicated scholarships, that go up to $5,000, are nothing to sneer at. Any additional help is always great. Also, they have more ROTC programs than some of the other universities. They've got Air Force, Army, Marine, and Navy. They don't have Space Force, but they have almost everything, which is pretty impressive. They do have career support, and like I said, they do have that dedicated veterans center. It has a lot of the same other things as the other schools have. It has legal aid as well, which only one other university had listed. So it just depends on what you are looking at and what you are needing. But again, they do have things that other universities haven't had. So it might meet your needs. And again, scholarships are always a plus. All right, that leads us to number 9, which is Eastern Michigan University. And it is the oldest public university in Michigan. It was founded in 1849. And it has a really good programs for science, business, education, engineering, technology, health and human services, as well as its graduate programs are rather good as well. It has all of the same ones as before. It has the Excelsior College U-Excel exams, as that is different. That's in addition to all the ones that the other ones had by the credit by exam program. It does do the VA work study, which all of these have. It's got, but like the last one, like U of A and the first one, it has a lot of ROTC programs. It's got Air Force, Army, Marine, and Navy. So it's got nearly everything. It does have career support. And it does not look like it has as many. Yeah, there's no scholarships listed that I see as of right now. And so, I mean, if you're looking for a school that's loaded down with lots of scholarships that it's giving away, which, means you've got a higher rate of getting one if there's more than one, that is something to look into. They have legal aid, which is the additional interesting one that not all the other universities has had, but it's got all the same things: the study space, counseling, processing, financial, academic, mentoring, registration, advising, social events, legal aid, like I mentioned before, service projects, help for physically disabled veterans, and mental health. So lots of good stuff there as well if you're in the Michigan area or looking into that university in general. So, and then the last one is California State University at San Bernardino. So, again, you probably can guess where it is. They have a Veterans Center for Success as well. And that's basically their real big thing is they give you a center. So it doesn't list what they really specialize in academically or if they excel in any of those. In general, they've got all the same the credit exam policies. They have the basic government funding that most of the other places have, but they don't have any additional scholarships. They only have Air Force and Army ROTC, but again, that's not bad. And yeah, and then all of the same things as before for veteran services, that you do have a nice little building. If you have your own dedicated veterans building and stuff like that, that seems pretty cool. You don't have to go running around. Whenever they can put the resources all in one place, that's always advantageous. So it's nothing to sneer about having a dedicated building. It's just something different in general. So I'm going to give you an honorable mention. It's Western Governors University. Now, Western Governors University is not a physical location. It is all online. They have limited degrees that they provide, but they do really well with what they do. They do business, medical, and IT. They might do more than that now, but that's the ones I'm aware of. I know lots of people, military affiliated and military themselves, who have gone to WGU. One of the great things about WGU is they are a self-paced university setup. And what do I mean by that? Every single class is those testing things. So you go in, you start a class, you take a pre-test to see if you know the information. If you pass the pre-test really well, then you can go and just take the final exam and test out of that class. I know people who have spent less than a day on a class and passed and just moved on to the next class. So if it takes you a day, if it takes you a week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you a whole semester, it doesn't matter. It's self-paced. You don't have to get on a whole bunch of discussion boards and, do anything like that. You give you all the material, you learn the material. If you need help, you can meet with your academic advisor or your professor and get help and assistance, or they can set you up with tutoring and study groups to learn the material as well. So if you're someone who really just likes learning on your own and wants credit for it, WGU is fantastic. The one that is getting a dishonorable mention is Baker College. Baker College is also online, which seemingly is great for military. However, they tend to move the goalposts. I know several individuals who were very close to graduation, and then all of a sudden they had new requirements that they had to do. So it delayed their graduation. And it seems like they really are just trying to milk the military for all of the government assistance money that they can possibly get without actually helping their students finish degrees. It just, they do free textbooks, but I just was not impressed with the stories I have heard from individuals getting snubbed by them, and also random bills coming out of the clear blue sky from them. So those are my honorable and dishonorable mentions. Something to take into consideration when you are doing this is that there are different policies and procedures. If you are active duty military, you can still go to a lot of these universities, especially if they have online components and it's not all face-to-face, without the worry of having to transfer to a new university when you get a new change in duty station. The thing to keep in mind with all of this is portability if you are active duty. However, if you're a veteran and not moving around, or you are a dependent, or you're doing a ROTC program, those are not always a concern. So it's whatever meets your needs, wherever you're located or whatever is closest. If you really want to move and relocate for a university, feel free to do that. But just knowing what resources you have, especially when it comes to financial aid and assistance, is huge. And spouses, look up some of these universities as well. I know that there are military assistance programs for spouses to get their education and degrees and certificates. Don't think just because you're the spouse that there is not support and assistance for you as well. One more caveat in regards to the GI Bill. If you are wanting to use your GI Bill for a child and not yourself, you need to make the switch. There's some sort of paperwork you need to file ahead of time, up to 4 years before you get out. Otherwise, you will be the only one able to use your GI Bill. So that is always something to take into consideration when doing this. But don't wait to get out. That is one thing that we have learned firsthand in our family, is that there is a lot of certificate programs and educational opportunities through the military themselves. And also tuition assistance is a thing. Now, granted, there was a tuition assistance hiccup with the Guard and the Reserve, but active duty doesn't seem to tend to have those difficulties. Take advantage of what you've got and make the most of it. A higher education is something that can help a lot when you finally get out of the military, especially if you have to medically retire and find something new to do because your body's not working the same as it was when you first got in. So I know that's a lot of information. This was a rather long episode, but I just really wanted to get that information out to you. The link to their breakdown will be in the description for this episode. I've got some guests coming up in the next little bit with the next few episodes. Lots of projects underway. As always, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you are listening to Life of a Military Wife.